Hello and welcome to another McDowell ASMR video. Today we're going to be trying 3 Highland Park whiskies, which I'm very excited to do. Highland Park is one of my favourite whiskies ever. They are rich history and their flavours all combining to make not just a lovely whiskey, but a great story to tell while you're drinking it. The first whiskey I'm going to be trying is the Highland Park 12 year. This is a vintage bottle and displays the old label and classic bottle design. I have a Highland Park glass to go with it. These Highland Park glasses are lovely with a Highland Park engraving on them. The Highland Park 12 year is considered one of their classics, is their bread and butter. Since this is the vintage bottle, the cork at the top is starting to age and doesn't have the same sounds to it. On the nose you're getting that ex-bourbon cask, very, very light smells of peat. You're getting more of a bit of flame, you know, that old American barrel. You see what it tastes like. The first flavour you're getting is peat. Highland Park is famous for being a lightly peated whiskey, and it is they do peat incredibly well in Highland Park. You're getting it in the back of the throat, however, it's not overwhelming like in Islay whiskies. It's that subtlety that just as I said, that bit of peat in the back of the throat. You're also getting a lot of amber, sweet flavours with it. A bit of toffee and maple in amongst the whiskey as the flavours change as they go down. We're going to add a wee bit of water to see how that changes the flavour. The reason why water changes the flavours in whiskies is because a whiskey molecule is really long and the water breaks up this whiskey molecule, but it doesn't dilute the whiskey. It changes its flavour completely. And you should never add too much water, which is why I have this pipette in a classic Glenmorangie water jug. Let's give it a try now to see how that's affected the taste. Straight away you're getting way more of that wood, that oak barrel ex-bourbon cask going straight away. It's not one of the after flavours because like before, it's straight away you're getting lovely smoke, a lot of wood. It's a different whiskey altogether. Now, the next whiskey we'll be trying is the Highland Park 16-year-old Swallow's Return. Now, Swallow's Return gets its name because every year Highland Park have to stop whiskey production since a nest of swallows comes to stay and nest in the kiln, so they can't burn any of the peat to give it that good flavour. Since swallows are protected species, they also can't get rid of them or rehome them. So the swallows have to stay, and Highland Park can only make whiskey until all the swallows leave. So the Swallow's Return is an homage to these swallows that stop production every year. I have to say, that's a lovely way. We have another Highland Park glass for this one here. Another thing with the Swallow's Return is you can only buy this whiskey in the Highland Park gift shop on the island of Orkney, which is where the Highland Park distillery is located. It's also a limited release, so if you do plan to get a bottle, I do believe they've moved. You can purchase them on the online store now. However, that's to get rid of excess stock. So, if you want a bottle, you better be quick for one of these. Swallow's Return is less oaky on the nose. You're getting much more fruitier and zesty flavours. Less of that peat, much less of the peat. Slight grappa notes on that too. Let's see how it tastes. You're getting that peat in the kind of front of your nose, that kind of straight away. That's because the Swallow's Return is much more oily than the 12-year. So the flavours will cling to the roof of your mouth. I'm getting way more fruity flavours than oaky ones in the 12-year. More cranberry, more apple and pear than before. It's a much sweeter whiskey than the first one. Let's see how it tastes with a wee bit of water. On the nose you're getting more grape skin than before. And yeah, again, that's a completely different whiskey now. That water has completely transformed it. That's on the tongue now. It's way more lemon zest and orange peels ever tasted in the flavour complex before. It's much more fruity and much more zesty, but still keeping that subtlety of peat in amongst in the back of your throat, which is very well done for a whisky, because usually it's either sweet or peated. It's never usually both. But at Highland Park, Swallows have done 16-year, manages to do it just fine. For our third and final whisky of today, we have the Highland Park 18 Viking Pride. This is a discontinued whisky, which means you can no longer buy this anymore. I managed to grab a bottle on the second-hand market quite recently to when it retired, so I got a good price for it. It's got a lovely design on the bottle, which you'd expect for a whisky that's been aged for 18 years. Let's give it a try. Straight away on the nose, you're getting that European cask straight away. Ex-sherry casks for sure. A lot more notes of sweet grapes. And then again, a light aromatic of peat. I'd say it's not as peated as the 12-year, but more peated than the 16. Let's give it a wee try. That is magnificent. It's one of the nicest whiskies I've ever tried. Straight away, you can taste each and every one of those 18 years in that European barrel. You can taste how long it's been in that sherry cask for. All the rich flavours of grape and partially smoked as well from the kiln. A lot of burnt orange, slight notes of toffee as well. And as I previously mentioned, just a slight, very slight amount of peat. Before I add the water, I have to let you know, I'm just trying it out. I know I might get some slander in the comments for adding water to an 18-year. It's a lot more fruitier than before with the water. It's a lot more fruitier, less of the European casks you're tasting. You're not tasting as much sherry with the water. However, you are tasting more because the 18-year is uses partially sherry casks and partially ex-bourbon casks to make this amazing whiskey. So let's taste it, less of the sherry, more of the ex-bourbon casks for this. I think water has ruined a perfectly good whiskey. Thank you for watching to the end of the video and listening to me talk about whiskey for a couple of minutes. The Highland Park 18 is a good whiskey to go to if you're looking for just a whiskey to try. You can order it at a bar, a restaurant, or you can even have a wee nip when sitting around the house. This whiskey is perfect for any occasion. The swallows of a ton, I would say, is more of a boasting gesture. Yes, it is a nice whiskey, it's a lovely whiskey. However, I can't see somebody sitting down on a night out and polishing off the bottle. But the Highland Park 18 Viking Pride, I can only ever see people having a wee nip during special occasions, not just due to the price of the bottle, but just of how rich it is. But because of that richness, that sherry cask, all the flavours you can taste at the same time, I'm going to put Highland Park 18 to be number one of these three Highland Parks. Thank you very much for watching to the end of the video, and I hope you have a nice day.